And we are live. Hello, Carson Meredith with you. It is right at 7 o'clock on this Saturday night. It is January 11th, 2025. Hope you are well. Hope you've had a good weekend so far. Hopefully your roads around your neighborhood are getting a little better. A little bit. Hopefully. If not, no worries. I think we'll have a good bit of melting tomorrow. That's our first topic at hand tonight. We will talk about this one-day warm-up that we have for Sunday. And then we will talk about more cold air, intense cold air, really, that's going to be settling in early next week, and some small snow chances that come with it. I will say right out of the gate before we get into the nitty-gritty of our conversation tonight, there are no winter storms in our forecast. Okay? There's nothing like that anytime soon. That's not to say that we're done with winter storms for the winter. We got a long way to go. But the snow chances we have coming up are much more minor than what we've just dealt with over the last week. It's a much more relaxed environment around the Wave Studios tonight. I can tell you that compared to this time a week ago when we were getting ready for the big one, right? Who's watching tonight? Kathy is on YouTube from Fredericksburg. Hope you're well. Anita says hello. Glad to see the snow melting ever so slightly. That's it, Anita. You got to take little baby steps to get this mess out of here. We did get above freezing today. We did. Carrie says where he's at in Marengo, it got above freezing. A lot of us wound up around 33 or 34. It's not much, I know. But you know what? It's better than nothing. So we had a little bit of melting today. Not a ton. Nancy says, please say there will be some sun tomorrow to melt some of this stuff. There will be. Will it be a bright blue sky? Not necessarily. But I do expect a good bit of sunshine tomorrow. Let me get you outside tonight. We'll start off in Bardstown. They still have all the holiday lights up. And I love it. With the snow, got to keep the holiday spirit around. Maybe just a little longer, right? My tree is still up at my house. It's January 11th, I know, but I just spent the last few days recovering from what we had this past weekend. Anyway, I'll get there. So outside tonight, it is cooling back down once again. We are back below freezing in many areas, but we did get up to 35 today here in Louisville. And that snapped a streak of 137 consecutive hours with temperatures at or below 32 in Louisville. That started around 7 o'clock Sunday night and went until noon today. Unbelievable. You very rarely do you see a streak of nearly 6 straight days below freezing in this part of the world. But that's what we just got out of, even if ever so slightly. Our average high this time of year is around 43. So we're definitely below that mark still. Radar's quiet. If you were watching me earlier this morning, either on TV or on Wave Weather Now, I was talking about some flurries still flying around. That is no longer the case. That system is finally moving away from wave country, and we are looking quiet for the overnight hours tonight and for pretty much all day tomorrow. And then we'll watch a tiny little flurry chance come into play tomorrow night and Monday morning. We'll get into that in a second. Let's talk about snow how much snow we've seen so far. Our final number from last night's winter storm, I guess you could call it, was 3 inches here in Louisville. That's the official measurement at Ali International Airport. Did the system underperform in some areas? Yes. However, our forecast said 3 to 5 inches for most of Wave Country yesterday. And a lot of us saw 3 to 5 inches of snow. Not to toot our own horn, but just saying. When you look at the how much snow we've seen so far this season, 14.8 inches of snow. Now that factors in, remember Thanksgiving weekend, we had that little snow move through. I think it was Saturday night of Thanksgiving weekend. So that fact is factored in here, as well as the 14 inches of snow that we have seen this past week. That's a lot of snow in a week, guys, right? It's way above our average for an entire winter season. We usually see around 13 inches of snow from, just all of winter, right? We're already way above that mark, and it's January 11th. And we've got a long way to go to keep adding to that tally. Let's put that January snow total into context here. Let me take this graphic full because it's got a lot of numbers, and I don't want you guys to miss a detail here. So what you're looking at are these top 10 snowiest Januaries in the history of the city of Louisville. And you notice clocking in at number 8 is the year 2025. We've seen 14 inches of snow here in Louisville so far this month. That goes down as the 8th snowiest January ever. And we are only 11 days in to this new month. Remarkable. Unbelievable, really. We had 9 inches of snow Sunday, 1.5 inches on Monday, a 1/2 inch on Wednesday, I believe it was, and then another 3 inches yesterday. Crazy. First 10 days of the year, or 10 days of the month, and we're already at a top 10 snowiest January of all time. The record, some of you might remember, 1978. Remember that big month we had around here? 28 inches of snow. And you can also see this is the snowiest January in Louisville since 1964. We had around 15 inches of snow a little over 60 years ago. Unbelievable numbers. Certainly historic. And we are not done by any means. Back to the comments we go. Kathy says, nice sun today. Yeah, some of you saw a few peaks of sun. Not many, but some lucky few did. Kevin says, good evening from the Chickasaw neighborhood. Please tell me March 20th is almost here. Otherwise, I'm going back in hibernation. Well, Kevin, we appreciate you watching. I hope you keep watching, but I would recommend hibernation because there's not much of a warm-up anytime soon. There's little warm-ups, like highs in the upper 30s instead of low 30s. That's really all I can give you at this point, unfortunately. This is going to go down as a very cold January, it appears, in addition to a snowy one, like we've already seen. Angela says, good evening. Caught a few glimpses of the sun in blue this afternoon. Then it clouded right back up. Yes, it did, unfortunately. But I do expect to see more sun tomorrow. It's not going to be a full-on bright blue sky, I don't think. But I do expect to see more sun than clouds at times. So, not too bad. We'll take it. Andrew says, you told us about the warm-up tomorrow. What about the warm-up towards the end of the week and the rain that comes with it? Hold that thought, my friend. We'll get there. Got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's see. Michael says, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Lily says, y'all act like he controls the weather. Trust me, if I'd controlled the weather, which we do not, I would have highs around 70 every single day. Blue sky, sunshine, no clouds. Every single day. It would be perfect. Anyway, Lily says you're doing a nice job. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. All right, more comments as we go along. But now let's dive into the forecast. We've talked about the history we've had so far. Let's get into it. We got several things to talk about. Tonight looks good for the most part. It will be cold. mostly cloudy, I'll call it, but I do expect some clearing in the cloud cover overnight tonight. How much cloud cover we see ultimately decides how cold it gets. The clouds hold on a little while longer. We won't have overnight lows in the low 20s. It'll be more like the mid 20s instead. Regardless, it's still going to be cold. We'll call it 23 here in Louisville. If you live outside the city, you could very well drop into the upper teens, like 18 or 19. And we'll have to watch for patchy fog, especially if those clouds clear out quickly. That would allow for some of that fog to develop with all the moisture near the surface from the snowpack and all the melting or any melting we had today. So that could all work together to lead to some patchy fog, which would also mean that the fog would be freezing fog, since those temperatures would be below freezing. So just something to keep in mind if you're going to be out late tonight. I don't foresee the fog being a major concern right now, but there could be some isolated instances of patchy fog here or there. You notice our fogcast pinpointing that fog potential well. I will tell you, I think it's being a little too intense with the fog. I don't think it's going to be everywhere, but I certainly think there could be some trouble spots here or there. And that blue line you see is the freezing line. And notice how it will kind of sweep through the region tomorrow morning, which means we'll go above freezing, right? We'll start off below freezing in the morning, mid-20s, heavy coats needed if you're still heading to church or have any other Sunday morning plans. Sunday afternoon, not bad, 38. There's some models saying we might get close to 40. I'm not totally sold on that, but it's still going to be above freezing. We'll have a good bit of sunshine mixed in with the clouds. It's not going to totally melt everything tomorrow. So let's get that out of the way. I wish it would, but it's going to be a while for all of this stuff to get out of here, because it's just in general going to stay pretty cold for much of the rest of the month. But we'll get some decent melting tomorrow, and those temperatures might stay just a tick above freezing into the evening, past 8 o'clock maybe, and then we'll go back below freezing as the night wears on. All right, let's dive into our small but worth mentioning snow chances, okay? This is for Monday morning, early Monday morning. A lot of you are going to be asleep. This is 2 a.m. Monday morning, and you notice this narrow little line of flurries right there in southern Indiana. There's a cold front moving through on Monday morning. There's not a lot of moisture with it, like not a lot at all. This is all we'll likely see out of this front. It's just a narrow little line of flurries. Right now, I've got the timing between 1 a.m. Monday and 9 a.m. Monday. That could be adjusted a little bit. But as this front moves through, even though it doesn't have a ton of moisture, it's going to continue to scoot through. Here in Louisville, if the current timing holds, I would expect some flurries around 3, 4, 5 a.m. Monday morning. Again, very, very early. And just as quickly as that front moves through with the flurries, by 9 a.m., it's gone. Not all of you will see flurries Monday morning. Some of you may not see any at all, but some of you will. And it might be enough to add just an extra little coating to the top of the car or to the rooftop. That's it. I do not see road issues from the flurries Monday morning. What I will caution, however, we're going to melt a good bit tomorrow afternoon, right? We're back above freezing. We talked about that. As those temperatures go back below freezing Sunday night, all that residual moisture might refreeze and become black ice. So that's my main concern Monday morning. It's not really the flurries. It's the black ice potential Monday morning. So we need to keep an eye on that, especially on side roads and neighborhood roads. I don't think it'll be impossible to drive Monday morning, but those secondary roads, those neighborhood roads could be a little tricky with some black ice. That is for Monday morning. And any accumulations, like I said, I don't see any really on Monday morning. Little coating on the car, little coating on the rooftop, nothing more than that. Let's see. Danny's got a prediction. Something tells Danny that we will crack the top 5 for snowiest Januaries of all time. It's possible. It's possible. The pattern certainly is the long-term pattern looks good. I'll say that. Rosie, I think, is a lot of us. I'm so ready for spring. Yeah, I'm not a huge winter fan. I like cold. I don't like this kind of cold. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Amy says, thanks for the road updates this morning. We were heading back to Bardstown from Indianapolis. Clear shot all the way home. Good deal, Amy. Appreciate you watching this morning. As we talked about this morning, a lot of the interstates were fine. And it sounds like you didn't have any issues heading home. So glad you got home safe. Joseph says, are we finally free of alert days? For now, yes. I emphasize for now. We're not going to have a lot of long-term alert days at this point. It's going to be these situations where we look at these little bumps in the road in the forecast and we realize, hey, this is going to be more impactful than we initially expected. We got to flag it as an alert day. So very what we call short fuse alert days are still on the table, but nothing right now. Hey, Adam's here. Good evening from Bloomington. Nice to see some sun, a little melting on the porch. That's good, Adam. Hope you're well, my friend. This is awesome. Weather Geek. So happy I got above freezing. I was afraid Brian's beard would look like Willie Lee Golden from the Oak Ridge Boys. That's awesome, Weather Geek. That's a great line. My folks love the Oak Ridge Boys, so I've heard them my entire life. I've seen them many times in person when they went to the fair. Great reference. I don't think Brian can grow a beard like that, though. If you don't know the Oak Ridge Boys out there, folks, look up Willie Lee Golden. You'll know what we're talking about. Okay, let's focus. So we talked about the flurries on Monday morning. Shouldn't be a major concern. This, however, could be something to watch. It's our next big weather maker for Tuesday. Another clipper moving through. We get these a lot. This is kind of more our wheelhouse, if you will. As we get towards Tuesday afternoon, there is some question as to how much moisture this clipper will have. We're pretty confident that it's going to take this general track somewhere along and north of I-64. Here's 64. Let's say here's I-70 up towards Indianapolis, okay? The track's going to be somewhere in this ballpark. The question is, how much moisture is this clipper going to have with it? If it has a good bit of moisture, we might have another little accumulation, another coating, or maybe a half inch of snow potentially with this clipper. If not, then it's not going to be a big deal. Okay? This is the GFS that I'm showing you tonight. I think it's the most aggressive of the models when it comes to this clipper on Tuesday. And it shows, obviously, widespread snow showers across the region Tuesday. We're not quite in the range of the high-resolution models just yet with this system. We're getting close. But that'll kind of dictate what snowfall amounts we might be looking at on Tuesday. This would likely be a lighter, fluffier snow because of the cold air that'll be in place. The Arctic air that'll be settling in around this time. So again, general timing looks like late morning Tuesday into Tuesday afternoon. We're just going to call it snow showers at this point, and the potential for a light accumulation. And by light accumulation, we mean less than 1 inch. Okay? So this is not a major winter storm on Tuesday at all. This is just a good old-fashioned clipper scooting on through, zoop, and then it's out of here as we get towards Tuesday night. That's all there is to it. So we'll keep an eye on this. If we start to see that moisture tick up, the accumulation risk tick up, we may flag Tuesday as an alert day. Right now, there's a little too much uncertainty when it comes to that moisture and how much of it we have. But that's really the next decent shot that we've got for some snow. And again, it's not a winter storm. Just a few snow showers, and that'll be it. for Tuesday. Let's see. Becca says she's glad there are no winter weather advisories in the forecast. Ready to get the kiddos back to school. I bet a lot of parents are feeling that way. Here's the thing. And again, we do not make decisions when it comes to schools. That is not our job. What it's going to come down to are these neighborhoods. If we get a lot of melting tomorrow, excuse me, if we get a lot of melting tomorrow in those neighborhoods, I would be more inclined to think schools will go back. If we don't get as much melting as we hope, we may have a decision to make. But again, we do not make those decisions. We just pass along those decisions. So I got a feeling we'll know something around this time tomorrow night. We'll see. We shall see. Excuse me. Let's see. Jay says, hey, I like your tie. Thank you. It is brand new. I got it for Christmas. Brand spanking new. I have close to 100 ties in my collection now, so maybe too many. Jay also likes the warm-up for tomorrow and late next week. Yeah. They're not going to last long, but we'll take what we can get, right? In between those warm-ups that Jay was mentioning, we've got a big blast of cold air moving in this upcoming week. It could be that this cold blast is more intense than what we had this past week. It all comes down to how much cloud clearing we see as we get towards, I'll say, Monday night, but especially Tuesday night. That looks to be the coldest night this week, is Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And you see our forecast low here in Louisville is 6 above zero. Yikes. Now, keep in mind, we're always going to be a couple degrees warmer in Louisville because of the heat island effect. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, we're always going to be a little warmer in Louisville because we're in that heat island. But you get outside the city Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, especially in southern Indiana, I believe we will have temperatures near and possibly below zero. And the reason why is because we'll have, once that clipper moves through on Tuesday, the clouds will clear out really quickly. This is already going to be a very cold blast of Arctic air straight from Canada. And we still likely will have a little bit of a snowpack. And that'll all work together to give us what could very well be the coldest night of the season so far. So 6 above in Louisville's our forecast. Southern Indiana has the greatest risk to get to near or below zero Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. If you get down towards our southern counties, cold, don't get me wrong, but still in positive territory, 5 above zero, maybe 10 above zero if you're lucky. But the coldest morning right now looks to be Wednesday morning. This will be one of those nights and mornings where you want to leave the faucets dripping. Unhook the garden hose outside if you haven't done so already. Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, very, very cold, dangerously cold. This would be enough to cause early onset frostbite if you're not protecting your body the right way. So this looks to be the coldest at this stage of the game. However, it will stay cold into Wednesday during the day and into Thursday morning. Thursday morning's forecast lows, not as bad. Most of us still in the double digits, or back in the double digits, but still pretty dang cold if you ask me. Our forecast low Thursday morning is 12 degrees in Louisville, with most of us hovering around that 10 to 15 above range by then. Okay, so that's that. I will say from Monday night through Thursday morning. Monday night through Thursday morning is going to be the worst of the cold. And then Wednesday morning will be the most extreme cold with those lows near zero in some spots or below zero possibly. And those high temperatures during the day will be stuck in the low 20s during that time frame too. So another bitter, bitter, bitter blast of cold air is about to move in. Now, as we get towards next weekend, I've seen a lot of you in the comments asking, what about next weekend? What about next weekend? All right, here's the deal. Right now, with that warm up coming in late next week, Friday in particular, the initial start of whatever happens next weekend looks to be rain, which I'm going to be honest with you, I don't mind after all the snow we've had. So note the time at the top of your screen. This is Saturday afternoon, next Saturday afternoon, okay? Widespread rain across wave country. Temperatures in the low 40s, rain, good old-fashioned rain. But there might be, now this is where the uncertainty comes into play. There might be two, I don't want to say systems necessarily, there might be two pieces of energy moving through the southeast around this time. So you got this first one going like this, then a second one's out here in Texarkana, perhaps, and it comes in the same route as well. This first wave looks to stay mainly rain. There may be enough moisture lingering for a quick little changeover along the Ohio River Saturday night and next Sunday morning. It doesn't look significant. The big question is going to be this second piece of energy behind this first round, okay? And that would come into play as we get towards MLK Day on January 20th. So 9 days from now. That first wave rolls through, colder air settles back in. We cool back down into the 20s by the 19th and the 20th. So then the question becomes, okay, the cold air is back in place. Does the second system actually come to fruition? And if it does, we've got another southern system to watch, just like what we had on Friday. That's really all I can say at this point, guys. This is just really kind of entering our range when it comes to the 10-day. But this does bear watching when it comes to a winter weather potential as we get towards the 20th and the 21st. That's kind of the time frame that I've got my eye on at this point. Not the first wave. The first wave, likely all rain. Tiny chance for a changeover as it moves out. Doesn't look like a huge deal. But the colder air will be settling in by next Sunday, the 19th of January. And if we get this second system that rolls through on the backside of the first system, that's when things might get interesting by the 20th and the 21st. So that's where things stand right now. 20th and 21st. Keep an eye on it. Still got some flurries this upcoming Monday. Still have some snow showers on the table Tuesday. But if you're looking for another big snow potential, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it is, it's going to be with this thing, the 20th and 21st. All right? That's where things stand at this point, my friends. Let me run through the comments, and then I'll show you the 10-day, and then I'll head on out. Let's see. Linda's asking about Saturday. Yeah, we kind of mentioned it. First round right here on Saturday looks to be all rain at this time. Looks to be all rain for now. Let's see. Okay. Husband hates snow, but the wife loves the cold and snow. So she's going to want more cold and snow. There you go. House divided. Love it. Good stuff. Michael says, we're going to get you some bow ties. Yeah, I got a few. I haven't worn them since high school, college. It's been a while. I don't know if I could pull it off anymore. I like the good old-fashioned neckties. Ann says, we got 5 days built into the school calendar for students. Anything here on out will need to be made up. It depends on the district, but you're right, Ann. A lot of school districts do have 5 days built in. You know, there comes the question of, well, you know, if we cancel these snow days, If we don't make them up, do we still have enough hours to meet the state requirements and all that mess? So yeah, the calendars are going to definitely be in flux for the next few weeks. There's no question. Joseph says Saturday going to be all rain. Right now, it looks that way. Yes. Carrie says if there's enough snow melt tomorrow, will it be warmer? Not necessarily dependent on how much snow melt we see. It quite honestly comes down to sunshine. If we see more sun than clouds, we could easily get to 40 tomorrow, which in turn would cause more snow melt, right? So the sun's really going to decide how things play out tomorrow when it comes to those temperatures and, of course, how much snow melt we see tomorrow. Ann says her neighborhood is still ice. That's not good. That's not good. It's not surprising, though. I mean, we got above freezing today, but we didn't have any sun, so there was some melting, but not a ton, right? Let's see. Austin says he's got a party next Monday, the 20th. Any weather concerns? Well, I mean, Austin, I know you posted this comment before I got to it. I wouldn't say concerns at this point. I would just say pay attention. Just keep an eye on this as we get towards the 20th and 21st, especially that second wave that you see coming into the picture here on Futurecast. Tracy says, happy Saturday. Same to you. Same to you. Jeremy on YouTube asks, is Tuesday's low, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, will that be the coldest we see the rest of the winter? I'm not ready to say that yet. I am not ready to say that just yet. The trend suggests this is going to be a colder winter than we expected. So could we have another cold blast like this into February, or heaven forbid, even early March? Maybe. It's not out of the question. Never say never this early in winter. Never say never. We got a long way to go. Brayton's got a really good question. Are we worried about any flooding once all this snow and ice melts? Not necessarily. I'm not worried about flash flooding or anything like that once all this snow does melt. What we'll have to watch are those creeks and rivers. They're going to start running a little bit high once we get all this stuff melted. So we'll have to pay attention to that. But right now, I think the ground can hold in a lot of the melting that is about to take place over the next few days. Slowly but surely, we'll get this mess out of here. All right, here comes the 10-day. I don't want to ramble too much longer. I know I've kept you all way too long. Here comes the 10-day. Excuse me. Oh, hang on. That's the wrong 10-day. Doggone it. I always do this. Whenever I do the morning wave weather now hit versus the evening, I always get the 10 days crossed up. The right one's coming up, I promise. There you go. Okay. 38 tomorrow for now. 40 is possible if we see more sun. Monday, a few flurries. Cold. Stuck in the 20s again on Monday. So enjoy the warm-up tomorrow. We stay in the 20s, low 20s, Tuesday and Wednesday. Those are the coldest days of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday night is the coldest night with low temperatures near or below zero if you live along I-64 and into southern Indiana. So that's the dangerously cold night, if you will. We warm things back up into the 30s and low 40s Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday looks wet, but not snowy. And then we keep an eye on that second wave that might cause some trouble, some winter weather trouble by MLK Day next Monday. So if you don't want to watch the whole 35-minute video we just did, there's your Cliff Notes version of what's to come over the next 10 days. All right? Any last-minute comments, questions, thoughts, concerns before we sign things off tonight? Andrew asked, you have any idea when the snow is going to melt completely? Will the rain on Saturday wash all this away? Well, the second part of your question, Andrew, depends on the first part of your question, which is how quickly is all this stuff going to melt? Like I said, if we get a good bit of sunshine tomorrow, we'll see some decent melting. but I don't think it'll be completely gone. So my guess is when we get back above freezing again Thursday and Friday, that will kind of finish off a lot of the leftover snow. And then any snow that's still on the ground by Saturday will wash away with that rain. Good question. Adam says, don't say cold and March together. I know. By March, we want to get a move on, right? Into spring. But we've had plenty of cold Marches before. We've had plenty of snowstorms in March, early March especially. So we'll see how it all plays out. All right, guys. That's all I got. Any last minute thoughts before we wrap up? We'll be on TV tonight at 11 on Wave News. If you're still awake, we hope you tune in. We're not going to do an update here on Wave Weather Now tomorrow morning because things are settling down for now. So we'll do our next update here around the same time that we always do on weekends, around 7 o'clock in the evening tomorrow night. And we'll go from there. All right. So you got me on the TV side of things tonight at 11, tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow night as well. And on we go as we trudge through this already historic January. And we're only 11 days in. All right, that's it for now. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Enjoy the quote-unquote warm-up tomorrow because it's a one-day sale. Come get your warmer temperatures Sunday only because it gets cold again early next week. All right, guys. Have a great Saturday night. Have a great Sunday. I will see you on the TV side of things coming up tonight at 11.